Hello everyone, it's Mike Levin on Saturday, uh, June 11th, uh, 2016 at around 4:40 p.m. and I am setting in a new laptop to be somewhat modern. I believe this was on OS 10.8 or something when last I checked, but it was from before Mavericks. And so I was missing a lot of features, especially this full screen stuff, which, if anyone is not really into it or aware of it, full screen on the Mac is awesome. And I really haven't experienced anything this cool in terms of OS stuff since full screen on the Amiga. And people who use the Amiga computer know what I mean about flipping between screens with Amiga N to cycle through them and to grab the title bar with the right mouse button and to be able to pull screens down and reveal other programs truly running in the background. Running in the background in one of the first common person's graphical multitasking computer. And it had these slices of separate program running existence, and it just blew the mind for the late 80s. 1987, 88 is when I first started to experience that. And I'm getting that feeling again here on, of all things, a circa, I don't even know. Let's see what this is. About this Mac. I love learning what I'm on here in terms of hardware. It's a MacBook Air, 1.7 gigahertz, Intel Core i5, i5, and let's see, they have a circa year here, mid 2011. So I'm on a mid 2011 13-inch laptop computer, and it is still feeling and working awesome. So I just connected to, I believe, GitHub from a journal. Oh yeah, I tried doing a Git pull, and when I did that, it said no developer tools were found. Would you like to download them? And I answered yes. So that's what this downloading software window is about. It seems like it's taking way too long, and I'm afraid I'm going to get the whole Xcode package. So I'm stopping that. I don't want to wait that long for all those gigabytes of software for something I probably don't need. So I'm going into my trusty old Chrome browser, and I'm going to type in, and this was really interesting the last time I did this. I found the developer of the requests package for Python, that incredibly popular package, had done one of these, and then Apple went around and supported it themselves. So it is the uh, developer toolchain without Xcode is the concept we're interested in. So this is a test of my knowing what to search for. Did I get it right? Do I have an internet connection? These are the questions on our minds. Well, I think I'm connected. Yes, yes. Okay. There. Top hit. This is how Google is supposed to work. You know the answer is going to come from someone like one of these publications or Apple themselves. So let's get a non-Apple view of it first. Get command line tools for Xcode from Apple. So I bet that thing I'm clicking is probably the other link that was being given in the Google results for Apple. That's my guess. I might be wrong, but I'm looking forward to a page here that says, we know exactly what you're doing. Here's what you need to do. You're welcome. Maybe I have a bad internet connection, but it does seem like it is plenty of strength. Let's go like this and hit enter. See if another request. Okay, well, let's look at what they're saying about that. And in fact, we still have that window open, so I can hit back on that, and we'll see the search results again if we have internet. Ah, modern computers, internet dependency. Yeah, so the Apple one is this one here, using alternative toolchains. Okay, an official Apple page on using alternative toolchains. Are they the same? No! I was wrong in my assumption. Okay. We encounter problems. We make no guarantees. I don't know if I like that. That assumes you have Xcode, I believe. If you're an Xcode operator already, and you just want an alternative, GCC equivalent. So that's not what I want. We'll go back to the Google results, see if there's another Apple link here. Stack Overflow often has the answer. I wish my internet were faster, but what can you ask for in the Catskills? Am I still on camera? I guess I shouldn't reposition this stuff too much for comfort, because I throw off centering. I could cause a little video recursion here. Oh no, it doesn't let you show the configure recording if you're already recording. Good for you, ScreenFlow. Well, I guess while we're waiting for stuff to happen, I'll come back here. And no, I guess a git pull won't really work until it's good and ready. I need to get, apparently, the developer toolchain. This Apple domain here is requiring a login. I don't know if my login is going to log me in as a developer. Probably not. So let's see what Stack Overflow has to say about it. Blah, blah, I'm sure identical to what I need to do. Try the OSX GCC installer. That sounds promising. There's also the possibility I could just brew this. I could install Homebrew and get the GCC compiler from a brew install GCC, I presume. One of the really nice things in tech that's occurring these days is the ability to nom de franc, I don't know, the language that's, the currency of the day is easily adapted from a good, solid Unix, Linux, Python education into so many of the things that are going on today. This is the interesting thing, this guy has created a way to do it, but, and he happens to be the creator of the request object for Python. So a very popular package in the Python developer community. Everyone considers it a must-have because it improves the API to making HTTP requests. He developed something, it's in GitHub, it was apparently popular once upon a time. You can install it with Xcode select -install on Mavericks or Yosemite, which, no, I don't want to look it up, that's not what I wanted to copy it, which I happen to have just updated this machine to. So I can go here and I can do that, and I can hit install, and I can agree. And this is going to be a much faster version now of what I do believe you saw me in the middle of downloading a moment ago, which was the entire Xcode software package. Now, I am interested in someday, theoretically, Swift, developing for iPhones again. I might reposition my main phone from my Note 5, which currently is, see that, Note 5, crack screen. Don't want to show that to you because I'm not proud. I have to get that fixed. But on my next phone upgrade, I might switch back to iPhone because after like 3 years or something with Android, I'm feeling a little alien. And as cool as it is, as Amiga-like as it is in many ways. It has the Amiga spirit. This way that they have split screen working now is just fabulous. For any application that supports it, you've got the ability to split screen, or you can pull it off and pin it up in a floating screen. So you have these, I guess they're windows into memory poking through each other for high performance, neat features, neat visual features, split screen, window in window, that gives the Amiga a run for its money on modern hardware. So modern hardware, like phones, Android phones, are now finally becoming kind of almost as cool as the Amiga was. And it's just amazing to play around with these user interface innovations reaching into Android. I believe I'm on Lollipop right now, and the next step up is Marshmallow. And the way to really enjoy a Android phone on a new OS is to just move to a new phone that has it, so that you don't have to go through the upgrade path where a lot of things try and keep operating and perhaps looking like the old version. So you might end up on Marshmallow, but with the Lollipop, visual appearance and not the user interface innovations they're trying to push forward. And it's always good to be on the latest, to be tied in with what's going on. So I am due for an upgrade on both the Android platform and the iPhone, but no money. So I'm going to sort of get my phone repaired and back to its original condition, ride this Samsung Note 5 bandwagon as long as the life of this phone. And then when I'm in a better position, bam, I'm going to go to a new Android and a new iPhone, state-of-the-art latest at the same time, and probably video document my progress. Well, as you can see, there's still a bunch of time remaining on this download, and I think I bent your ear for about as much as anyone who's willing to listen will have had the patience for. So instead of continuing to talk, I will probably use the pause feature of the ScreenFlow capture program that you see right here, which is so much better than anything I have been able to find on Windows 10 on the Surface Pro 4, the Microsoft Pro Surface 4 or something like that, because of nuanced reasons. Camtasia Studio, however they call that, doesn't do capturing of your typing, and I do a lot of typing when I do this sort of stuff. So I can't even get pull. I am in the habit now of whenever I go to a new directory on a new machine, git pull, because there's almost no damage in doing that. The warnings will tell you you've got to commit or stash before it'll replace your current files. So there's a sort of a safety net built in. And once you do a commit or whatever, you want to do a git pull to merge your main trunk or your main branch on the Git repository with your current work on this local machine, so that the overall thing is updated. And if you keep up that habit, your ideas that might be queued up on some machine you're not using right now, but you might use again in the future, you get around to that machine again and you push out some old lost journal entries, and it's really kind of cool. This might be that sort of situation. I don't think so, but I won't know until I git pull successfully, which won't occur until after this standalone GCC toolchain is installed to make the native Mac OS kind of awesome and as good as anything out there in the free and open source software community, because with the compiler you can do a pull against any one of many repositories that are probably going to rely on it. Now the punchline is some of these repositories have their own GCC installers built in. So an alternative to this approach that I'm doing is to just get brew. And how do you just get brew? Well, you go to Google and you type brew, learn to type, I guess brew install. There's no way Google isn't going to know what you're talking about context-wise and bring you to the right page to get the download link. Or shall I say download string. They don't really give you a link due to the nature of the fact that you've got to type this into a window. Now this is downloading. Oh, about an hour, so it changed its download estimate, did it? So yeah, the internet might be acting up, as will happen. I will pause this. We'll get back to this later. Okay, the software finished installing. So let's see if a git pull works now. I don't know how good of that internet connection I have either, but it does still appear to be connected. I was going for the command for installing Homebrew. It's interesting, they are on a domain .sh, brew.sh, and this is the very well-known command here for installing the whole Homebrew system on your Mac with the reliability of knowing, oh, excellent, I got just a network permission problem. So I'm going to forego the Homebrew command because I believe things are cool. But what I have to do is go into cd home .ssh, an invisible directory that's always there, ls, see what we got, and I will pause the video because I'm going to be copying the contents of my public key into my copy buffer. So we go pause. Okay, I did that, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to GitHub and then go into my sign in. I don't need that page anymore. It was interesting to find it again, though, the pre-Apple officially supporting it route to doing what I just did. And yes, that's not what I wanted. Let's see. Your profile. No, it's not even your profile I want, it's your settings. Settings. Yeah, I am definitely suffering the penalty of slow internet at the moment. So maybe I'll come back to this. Yeah, this is it. Now I go into here and I paste that key and so on. I pause because I'm not going to show you. Okay, I did that. And now I should be able to git pull from there without a permission denied. Not a git repository. Yes, I changed directories to get into here. So I go cd home, and I'm pretty sure I keep it in there, git pull. And it should not be permission denied this time because I put the key to this Mac, the public key, into the approved list of keys on the GitHub side. So now I am pulling down my journal. I guess it's growing a bit in size. Occasionally I drop things in there like screenshots or other graphics. The repository is growing at a larger pace than the actual page on the internet because I have, quote, hit the giant reset button and deleted my whole journal and started from scratch. But the history is in the Git repository, and I'll probably unify them again at the head, which is the published bit, at some time in the future, but there's really no rush. In the meantime, I can go, let's see, please commit your changes and stuff before you. So you can do git diff and see what's the difference. Oh, this one little piece. I have to assert with Addie when I sit down with a laptop like this at home. It does not work, and it is not something she should exert energy trying to keep me from doing from time to time. It is really interesting. I have to get her into this text-based environment, or at least a Mac desktop with this kind of awesome multi-screen, user interface. You got to be at home in a nice one, and I think it's beaten the UIs in both Windows 10 and Linux and Ubuntu and all the different stuff I've been trying out lately. And so I can merge those. Git merge. Your changes. Oh, okay, I have to commit. Git commit. Fabulous. This is fun. Now I can do git merge, I guess. Merge remote stacking branch lines turn. These enter. Okay, I guess it's because on an old machine after a while. Reserving one entry. Save. Oops. Vim. Save. Quit. Okay. Yes. So they're merged now, I believe. And I can do vim index.html. Oh, let's quit. Remove the dot. We don't need that. Go back into it. Do a start journal entry, and we can look at the last time here, and that's earlier. So this is a recent journal because that was June 10th, and today's June 11th. So this is hello world from the Catskills. Perhaps one of the last times, if I perhaps for one of the few last times before I sell it as part of getting my finances under control. Stop. No more needless spending. I can live for much more cheaply and think I should, so that I have some expendable income again. So goodbye, a lot of cornerstone things from the last 10 years. Life changes. We move on, and sometimes that means we move. Friends need not be lost. There's always a way when you're connected. We are connected to people in many more ways than where you both happen to live in the same vicinity. We are connected to people in many more ways than where you both happen to live in the same vicinity. Things start by coincidence, but they continue by intent. We are humans, and we can think, and we can control our own destinies like few other classes of lumps of matter. Yes, we exist. I did the push. I believe it was successful. And just for that very reason, published some ideas from the we should. And I do believe I avoided having to exert homebrew. And what I was in the middle of doing was our will. Installing Anaconda, which I do believe I did. But and we believe. So, if it's consistent with the other experience, there it is on my desktop. In something. And so Anaconda will get run out of this directory. I can double click it. And I believe that's not Anaconda. I have something to teach you. And perchance, its own intermediary launching perhaps, because I guess these Jupyter folks maybe don't want you to feel some cosmic like you're in the middle coincidence. Teach. No, they don't want you to feel like you're opening Jupyter Notebook. Teach the product that was previously IPython. It would be easy to get that sense. You download Anaconda and you jump right into the Jupyter Notebook interface. But Anaconda isn't it. Many more things than just that. Better than so there has to be this someone play intermediary guy. I need to get something to train. Nintendo DS. There has to be this intermediary screen that gives you a chance to launch something other than Jupyter Notebook. He's got my so it's doing some updating, so I make you wait some more. You're welcome. Into wanting a Nintendo here we are. DS way like to go. Always glad to help. Asked for launch. It will be interesting. The server warning her browser, the bottomless pit of energy. The thing is, it found in the directory it was launched the world. Launched from interesting place known. The new Python 3 that is emerging. Tab launched. A virtual the ability to say such things as list reality. So many ways. 10. List 10. We'll go with 10. That you lose touch. Run it. Hey. With int object. It is really not iterable. Is of course. Because what I wanted to say is range without. Haha. There is a range object from 0 to 10. I'm not used to seeing that. I'm used to seeing a list. But I understand there has to be certain level of abstraction purity, so that you need to do that in order to see it in list form. And if you have something in list form, well then one of the more interesting, useful things you can do is express it in list form. That is, a list with one list in it, unless you insert your cursor right here and say X for X in, X for X in, X for X in. That's what you want to remember when you start using list comprehensions, because now it is not a list with a list inside of it, but it is back again to a single list, but it's an environment where you could do operations for each member of the list as it's being built, such as the modulus 2 operator, which, as some of you know, will divide by that amount and round the remainder. So if it's even, it's one way, if it's odd, it's the other. And that's how you can turn any string of numbers into alternating zeros and ones, ladies and gentlemen. And so now that you have that, you could do whatever you wanted to on that. I guess, I don't know, you would get the roots, the average, follow your own dream. So it will be the average, not. We see which way it rounds. No, you can't, huh? Oh, the name is not definable. How about max? Just to confirm that my thinking is not completely off base. And of course, min. You know, so you get the idea. You can transform all that into a way of saying 0. Thank you very much. Okay, for my next trick, I will change the file name to Experiment 1. The most creative name I could think of. And if I go like this, I'll see my different desktops, jump to one of them, and see if it's been made here. And I don't see the file made here, so I don't think it was actually run from the context of this location. I could do a find across my whole file system, but I have a suspicion based on the directory I saw before that I am going to find it here, and I do. And it's in just my home root. And on a Mac, the home root is a fairly used location. It's most of the places that the file system likes to give you access to without sort of either hiding its surfing in location, because unless you surf in from the hard drive, you rarely see certain locations on your machine anymore. It's not like it used to be. So under a Unix-like operating system, everything that you can do personally is contained to within a certain directory structure, and it's usually your home directory. And that's where it looked like Anaconda or Jupyter Notebook was run out of, and it makes this file here. Now that file, let's take a look at that. It's easy to get to that location because when you're in a DOS, a command line window, that location is cd tilde slash. Tilde slash is a shortcut for home. And then you can do ls to see what's there. So there's all that stuff. You can do take a look at that file with the less command, less ex tab, and there it is. This is what you saw me right there, right in front of you. And that's what it's saving. I guess it's a JSON object, although it probably is a valid Python object as well, because they're getting to be very similar. With them both defaulting to Unicode and all that, it's getting harder to tell a JSON object from a Python object. But when you commit a Python object to the hard drive, usually you get all this backslash escaping everywhere. So I think that was expressed in JSON, which is always interesting when Python native stuff decides to do configuration files in actual JSON as a acknowledgement to the rest of the world that JSON is that, you know, ASCII-like object expression format that won. That is a new hierarchical supporting data storage format. The way XML was briefly before it, and the way CSV files were before that, and maybe just text files before that. ASCII, text files likely. But now with things going Unicode, with even the file systems being pretty sure to be able to be saved with Unicode encoding by using the UTF-8 file system to actually commit the files to the drive in a predictable way that can express 64-bit characters, even though it's being saved in a 16-bit environment. So some technical trickery is pulled, but the upshot of it is with a little software interpretation libraries, you can load and save Unicode on any old system, including old systems. So that makes JSON stored on UTF-8 files a pretty cool file format. Very interchangeable, very reliable, and Python certainly can pull JSON in and convert it seamlessly into the equivalent Python structure, and you can just start using it directly as a Python object. And that using things directly as objects is a big part of what this is about now. You can always change this and get rid of that stuff and see what that shape was that you created, talking in terms of, say, list comprehensions. Do I have that right? I don't think I have that right. There's the outer one there, I believe. And you know what you're doing. How will that change if you do change that to a 3? 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Oh, that's interesting. What if I change that to a 4? Are you showing me algorithms? 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. What do you think if this was a bigger number than 100, than 10? Oh, I gave myself away, 100. So it wraps, interestingly, but it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. On how many spaces? I don't know. Let's count that. How would we count that? Gee, I don't know. Maybe there's a len function. Well, yeah, there is. Oh, for 100 elements. Well, now we're just showing 100. Where did all that fun go? Well, you get the idea. Python is a lot of fun. Python is just a method of expressing yourself to automate notions easily, to probably crunch some numbers or move some machines, or to apply some algorithms to figure some things out, to tie into fancy libraries, etc., etc. And this is a wonderful way to do it. I highly advocate the use of IPython to get familiar with running Python. And it leads naturally into the next step, which is keeping your own text files and then making sure those text files are connected to Git, and then perhaps GitHub, and then code safe for life. And I can show you how to convert or pull that code over to a Linux instance so that you can pull that code in and run it, just to show you how movable and transformable your environments, your code execution environments are. Get something working in one place, make sure it works well on a virtual machine with all its dependencies being met by virtue of making sure you understand them well by the first migration, and then you script the creation of more, and pretty soon you can be controlling 1,000 machines following your commands. Boom, 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 just type them in. So thanks for joining me. Hope that wasn't too crazy and out there, but I got my second MacBook Air set up for doing some coding videos. So I'll be doing these talking head coding videos a lot again, regardless of distractions. I'll carve out the time. I'll have them available. I'll have the projects right at the tip of my finger because I have these environments right at the tip of my fingers. This, I believe, has just now become the Pipulate user interface. And we're just going to import a few libraries that we developed together here and keep in GitHub, and bam, a new Pipulate. Tied in with Google Spreadsheets optionally, but yeah, it's about Python first. It's about a job request, a batch job request and batch job response format and protocol, the way it's delivered and the format it's delivered in. So what you should be doing on the receiving end to make sure you collect it right, because it might not be just one big answer. It might be answers in paged chunks that you're expecting to grab, save, so that you can grab the next and save, and I'll be putting it back out to you at the rate I calculated, and we agreed that I would be sending it back to you at. So you know if any errors occur, because you can look at the rate at which it's coming back, and this is Pipulate. And my last implementation, I had to do it. I had to get it out of my system, but boy, did I run into exactly the things I thought I was going to run into, which was mistakes in choosing Python 2.7. I should have gone right to 3.4 or 3.5, whatever it was at the time. I would have liked to have had yield from, and now I need to go through it again, and I want to fix all these inherent limitations like prolonged logins by the client. Expiring sessions are causing me grief because jobs can't run for a long time. So I have to make changes right up at that initial abstract login level. And I've done some good stuff along those lines in separate projects. And I have a strong notion of this thing called Alice and Bob Login, which might even be simplified now that we're expecting the user to be able to execute code on a non-server-like remote machine, but much more like a client Python REPL environment. Yeah, there'll be imports, Pipulate, and it's not going to work right now, but after you do that, you'll be able to use a certain API. We can do certain types of transformations. I guess a lot like you would in pandas. I better look closely at pandas before I do not make Pipulate based on pandas. Because now that I'm in for a penny, Jupyter Notebook, I should be in for a pound. Pandas. Yeah. In for a penny, Jupyter Notebook, in for a pound, pandas. And of course, we have to comment that one if we expect to be able to execute this code. But I'll have that around for next time. This will be my reminder for where I want to pick up from when next we meet. This is probably the continuation of the Pipulate educational series on a new platform as part of a new age with the same old laptop and still on the Mac. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.